Today's the day. I've been talking about it for a while, for the last few videos. I've been putting it off, but I finally calculated the costs of ownership of a Jeep Wrangler, specifically the TJ, but it does kind of go in with the other gens. So without further ado, let's get into it. That expression, you gotta pay to play, really is as true to it as it could be, because having one of these is not the cheapest thing, not the cheapest hobby, especially if you want to do modifications, if you want to really personalize it, because this is the most customizable car you could ever buy, from doors to the roof to the wheels and every which way, inside and out. Some of you who are looking for a Wrangler probably know that they're not the cheapest car to buy, because new and used are around the same price. I got an older generation because I like the body style and it was something I can comfortably afford. And you just gotta be real, what you can afford, what you can't. And I'm gonna go over how much it costs, gonna go over what I put into it, and everything totaled up from what I thought was a good deal to what it is now, and could I have gotten something better for that price. So I got all my calculations here on my phone. The number one expense, the Jeep itself. The Jeep itself was $6,000. My car was $6,000 solely because this guy was going to use it as an LS swap donor body. He didn't really care for it, and he ended up just not using it, going with a different one. And so I was able to pick this up, and I'll put photos up of how it looked the day that I got it. I was able to pick it up for $6,000. So since I got the car, I've obviously done a lot of maintenance, repairs, and it all adds up and everything, which is fine. You get into a project car, again, you gotta pay to play. I kind of knew what I was getting myself into. This car used to have a decal that said, "I have 99 problems, but a ditch ain't one." And my God, was it so true to its name. And as much as I hated to admit, it was a bit of a basket case. So one of the first things that I did, I actually had to get a new soft top. This guy forgot to give me the frame for it. And you know how sales go. They didn't bring it, you contact them, they never contact you back. So I ended up getting a Rampage soft top with the tint on it, and that was about $380. I ended up buying Rough Country seat covers. I covered that in my previous video of one of the best 5 Jeep mods to get, especially for a beginner. That was $180. The steering stabilizer, another good beginner Jeep mod, that was $38. And an issue I did not expect to come across, the wiring on my TPS sensor, which costed me $200. And not only that, unfortunately, it was also the PCM, I think some people refer to as an ECU as well, but for these cars, PCM, which is the computer of the car. That cost me $300, and my previous one was just fried. It had corrosion on it. It was not reading any of the air to fuel ratios. It was putting so much fuel on my spark plugs. I was getting about 1 mile to the gallon. It's literally horrible. My front track bar, that cost me about $135. I put it on because I wanted my Jeep to be more stable and comfortable. I really do plan on taking this on a road trip. The next thing I did after that was my LED headlights and taillights. The headlights were about $82. The taillights I didn't put in the previous video because it was honestly so annoying to get the wiring correctly. That was about $42. Now, this one I feel so controversial about. I love my dad so much. I love him for all the work he's helped me with on this car. One thing, however, and I'm gonna add this to the cost, was shocks. I had planned on getting a Rough Country lift kit with new springs and new shocks, because the ones that were previously on it were worn down so badly. The springs were, I'm pretty sure, being beat. And again, my dad's amazing. He really helps me a lot with fixing the car and teaching me new things about the car. But he went to AutoZone and he got Duralast shocks. I know, AutoZone and Duralast shocks. So he did the full front and back, and then from there think he only spent about $160 because he had some reward points. I had to buy a new instrument cluster, and that costed me about $100, and it was closest to the mileage it was truly at. The guy only put 3,000 miles on it from the 165, and I got an odometer at 172, so the mileage is only off by I guess like 5,000. I mean, it's an old car, it's not terrible, but yeah, about $100 for that. So I'm also gonna just throw this in here. An alignment was about $60. I have a friend who owns a shop, so $60 for my alignment, and then it was another $50 for an oil change. It's about 6 quarts and the new fuel filter. Relatively cheap. Thankfully, this car is lifted already 2.5 inches. It's so easy to get under.